Jérémy Doku is electric.
Doku gets the ball now. Doku can attack Konate in the position to shoot. Scores! Jérémy Doku! What a fabulous, fabulous strike!
The Belgian winger is one of the most exciting players to watch right now.
He's one of the most exciting wingers in the world right now, and that's a lot for a 21-year-old.
One body feint and you are cooked.
Doku, lovely, all the way. That'll seal it.
His feet are so quick. He's unafraid to run at defenders and already has a reputation as one of the best dribblers in the world.
For me, Jérémy is the best player in the world in the first 5 meters.
City fans have quickly fallen in love with him. Every time he gets the ball, something happens.
Everyone that he plays against, doesn't matter who it is, he's going to cause problems.
We knew he was good, but this is impressive.
Keeper's got no chance at all.
Whether it's a sharp turn, a drop of the shoulder, or a rocket of a shot,
Doku. Oh, it's just got even better.
he's going to create something out of nothing.
With Doku, he's so direct, he's so electric.
And he's an absolute dribbling machine, isn't he?
He's the type of player that will make anything happen at any moment.
Brilliantly done by Doku.
He takes on defenders more than anyone else in the league. In fact, more than anyone else in Europe. Yes, sometimes he looks like he's having a seizure, but it works.
Who does Gabriel believe is the most skillful player in the Premier League? Most skillful player in the Premier League. Both gone Jérémy Doku. It means you get a point.
It's like it's quick.
It makes him so unpredictable that nobody knows what he's going to do next.
Yeah, he's one of those players that I would describe as being a nightmare to play against, but probably a nightmare to play with. Because you don't know what he's going to do.
What's impressed me the most is how much better Doku's decision-making has gotten this season. He was always an unreal dribbler, but now he's chipping in with goals and assists.
You talk about his dribbling, he completes so many dribbles, creates so many chances, and I think right now, in his mind, he has a plan. Whereas I think now he's getting himself into areas where he's like, okay, I'm going to go left here. I'm actually going to go right. He's not just playing off the cuff. So I think he's improved so much as a footballer this season.
He's making better decisions and he's become much more lethal in the attacking third. He's not just aura farming with his dribbles like what he used to do to Trent. So much for the stupid narrative that Pep ruins creative players, right?
They can't stop him even with two.
Doku has been a real difference maker for City along with Haaland. But while he is now one of the Premier League's brightest stars, the journey to get to this level wasn't so simple.
He's a great footballer. He reads every action exactly what he has to do.
Jérémy Doku grew up in Antwerp and was already making waves in local football circles as a kid. His talent was obvious very early on. Quick feet, scary pace, and a love for running at defender. By the time he was 10, he had joined Anderlecht's academy, the biggest talent factory in Belgium. Coaches knew right away that they had something special on their hands. Fast forward a few years and at just 16, Doku made his pro debut for Anderlecht in November of 2018. That made him one of the youngest players ever to play for the club. Imagine still being in high school and then suddenly stepping out onto a pitch in front of thousands of fans. The following season, Vincent Kompany, who had just returned to Anderlecht as player manager, wasted no time pushing the teenager into the first team. The club was going through a rough financial patch and leaning heavily on youth players, and Doku's speed and fearlessness made him impossible to ignore. Even as a raw 17-year-old, he had something that defenders hated: unpredictability. He could just glide past players with his burst of speed. Sure, sometimes he struggled with finishing or making the right pass, but you could tell he had the tools to be special. In fact, before he even made his debut, Liverpool tried to sign him. They flew him and his family over to England, gave them a tour of the club, had Klopp and even Salah meet him, and basically rolled out the red carpet. Most teenagers would have jumped at the chance, but Doku made a very mature decision. He decided to stay at Anderlecht to continue his development. Romelu Lukaku even sent him a video message encouraging him to shine in Belgium first, a piece of advice that stuck with him. By the 2019-2020 season, Doku was showing everyone why he was rated so highly. He scored his first professional goal in December of 2019, then added another a few days later in the Belgian Cup. His breakout came in March of 2020 when he bagged 2 goals and an assist in a 7-0 demolition. That was the moment that everyone realized this kid isn't just hype, he's the real deal. By the end of that season, he had 5 goals and 34 appearances. Not bad for a teenager who was still learning the ropes. His performances quickly caught the attention of the Belgium national team. At just 18, he was already making his debut for the Red Devil. That's an abbreviation for the Belgium national team, not the garbage club of Manchester United. And he even scored within days of putting on the Belgium national team jersey. It was clear that they had found their next exciting winger. But Anderlecht couldn't hold on to him forever. They needed the money and bigger clubs were watching. In October of 2020, Rennes came in with a huge 26 to 27 million euros offer, a record fee for both clubs. Anderlecht accepted, and just like that, Doku was off to France to test himself at a higher level and to compete against the croissant lover. When Jérémy Doku left Belgium for Rennes in late 2020, it was a big step in his career. Rennes had just come off a great season, earning a spot in the Champions League for the first time, and they had spent a club record fee to bring him in. For an 18-year-old, that was a lot of pressure. A new country, new league, new teammates, and a huge transfer fee on his back. He wore the number 11 shirt at first, later changing to number 10, and everyone expected him to be the next big star for the club. The start wasn't easy. Liga is a very physical league, and it took some time for Doku to adjust. At first, fans only saw little flashes of what he could do. Bursts of speed, a cheeky dribble, a dangerous run, but as the months passed, he really began to settle. By December of 2020, he was already providing assists in league games against big teams like Marseille and Lorient, slowly finding his feet. Then in March of 2021, he finally scored his first goal for Rennes against Metz. It was classic Doku, running at defenders, causing chaos, but this time finishing off the move. That joy though didn't last long. Later in the same match, he picked up a red card for a clumsy tackle. That moment kind of summed up his early days in France. So much energy, sometimes too much, but you can never doubt his hunger. The next season, the 2021-2022 season, turned out to be one of the hardest chapters in Doku's career. Doku just couldn't stay fit. He kept picking up injury, one strain here, another knock there, and every time he got back into rhythm, something else would happen. He ended up playing just 14 league games all season and scored only once. Those are Garnacho numbers. It was frustrating for him and for the fans. Rennes coach Bruno Genesio even said how tough it was for Doku mentally, being so young and missing so much football. Doku though didn't let his head drop. He was always positive and eager to learn, and kept working to get back to full fitness. By the time the 2022-2023 season rolled around, Doku was ready to remind everyone why Rennes had paid so much money for him. At first, he was still mostly coming off the bench, but in January of 2023, Rennes sold fellow winger Kamaldeen Sulemana, which gave Doku more responsibility. This is when he was handed the number 10 shirt, a sign that the club really believed in him. And from that point on, things started to click. His breakthrough came in the spring of 2023. Starting in February, he showed his creativity in Europe by assisting goals in both legs of a Europa League tie against Shakhtar Donetsk. Rennes didn't go through, but Doku's performance really stood out. Then came April, which turned into his best month in France. On April 15th, he scored twice in a 3-0 win over Reims, his first ever brace for Rennes, and also his first goals at their home ground. The fans had been waiting for that moment, and Doku delivered. Just 2 weeks later, he bagged another brace, turning a close match into a 4-2 win with 2 second-half goals. Suddenly, he wasn't just a guy that dribbled past defender, he was finishing opportunities too. In May, he capped it all off with a stunning solo goal against Ajaccio. He picked up the ball deep in his own half, sprinted the length of the pitch, and finished coolly. It was the kind of goal that showed why he was so highly rated. Raw pace, balance, and the confidence to put the ball in the back of the net. By the end of that season, Doku had 6 league goals, and all of them were scored in the last 2 months, plus a handful of assists. Rennes finished 4th, and Doku had proven that when fit, he could change games on his own. After the season, he spoke openly about how playing in France had helped him improve. Facing guys like Neymar and Mbappe forced him to raise his game. He even laughed at his goal record, saying he's not Zlatan, which was a glimpse into his personality. A very positive guy who was always smiling. Basically the opposite of me. By the summer of 2023, it was obvious that he was too good to stay much longer. Bigger clubs were circling, and they were ready to make an offer. West Ham tried to sign him first, but when Manchester City made a bid of around £55 million, that was it. Rennes accepted, and Doku was on his way to England. In total, he left Rennes with 75 appearances and 10 goals across 3 seasons. The numbers might not look huge, but considering how much time he lost to injuries, it was still enough to convince Pep Guardiola that his ceiling was sky high. For Rennes, it was the biggest transfer in their history. For Doku, it was the next big leap in his journey to the Premier League and Manchester City. City gave him the number 11 shirt and a 5-year deal, showing straight away how much they believed in him. Fans were excited. This was a player with raw speed, flair, and someone who was actually willing to run at his man. Pep clearly saw him as the type of winger that City had been missing, and it didn't take long to show why. He scored his very first goal for City in a 3-1 win over West Ham. The goal itself was a beauty. He faced up the defender, dropped the shoulder, cut inside, and smashed the ball into the corner. It was classic Doku. That game also got him the man of the match. Even Pep admitted he hadn't expected such a big impact so soon. He called him a proper winger, saying he hadn't seen a performance like that in years.
I will be honest, I didn't expect the second game for Man City playing the level he played today. So the performance as a winger that Jérémy today played, you have to, I don't remember for a long time ago something like that.
City fans immediately knew they had something special. Doku himself was buzzing after that game. Normally he was quiet in interviews, but he couldn't hide his smile as he talked about how Pep encouraged him to take on defenders one-on-one. Throughout the 2023-2024 season he played great. City's system was all about control and possession, but Doku brought chaos in the best way possible. His acceleration, dribbling, and unpredictability gave the team a new weapon. One standout moment came against Liverpool in November of 2023. Doku ran at Trent again and again, completing 11 dribbles in that match, more than any Premier League player had managed in over 2 years, and the most ever against Liverpool since the stat was tracked. Even though the game ended in a draw, everyone was talking about him. Now, as I will show you later, in February of 2025, he would break his own record, completing 13 dribbles in another game against Liverpool and Trent. Just shows you how dominant he is one-on-one. In Europe, he was also doing well. Against Leipzig in the Champions League, he came on as a sub, set up Julian Alvarez for a goal, and then scored himself in stoppage time. The celebration kind of said it all. A huge grin on his face, arms around his teammate. The guy was living the dream. But the real headline moment came in November of 2023 against Bournemouth. Doku had what might be the game of his life. 1 goal and 4 assists in a 6-1 win. That made him the youngest player in Premier League history to be involved in 5 goals in a single match. Every time he got the ball, Bournemouth looked terrified. He ran at them, beat them, and either scored or set someone else up. Naturally, he was named the man of the match, and pundits couldn't stop praising him.
Doku wants the ball. He needs the ball, and you could see that all the Manchester City players, every time they got it, they were looking for him because he was available. He was oozing confidence, dancing on the ball. I mean, we knew he was good, but this is impressive.
Of course, it wasn't all smooth sailing. In December of 2023, he picked up a hamstring injury that sidelined him for a few weeks. But when he returned, he wasted no time making an impact again. He scored in the FA Cup against Huddersfield, then was a beast in a 5-1 win over Luton Town, getting a goal, an assist, and even winning a penalty. Then came the Champions League semi-final against Real Madrid. City were struggling when Doku came off the bench, but his energy changed everything. He ran at Real's defenders, created space, and it was his cross to set up Kevin De Bruyne's equalizer.
If you have Doku coming on the field, right, and you have proven that it's a 1v1 mismatch against Carvajal, why are there players of Manchester City actually crowding the left-hand side and making runs in behind Carvajal? No. Clear out. You have a mismatch. Take advantage of it, and the speed of Doku was always going to create problems.
Just days later in the FA Cup semi-final, he was again decisive, starting the move for Bernardo Silva's winner against Chelsea. It was pretty clear now, even in a squad full of stars, Doku had carved out a unique role as the player who could break games open with his sheer directness. By the end of that season, City were Premier League champions again, and Doku had earned his first big trophy. He even got an assist for Phil Foden on the final day in the title-clinching win. He finished the league season with 4 goals and 7 assists. Not bad at all for a first year in England. He also scored in the FA Cup final against Manchester United, though City lost 2-1. Still, it was a debut season that showed just how high his ceiling was. The 2024-2025 season brought new challenges for City, but Doku, he kept shining. He scored a stunning goal from outside the box against Fulham in October of 2024 and set a Champions League record by having 26 touches inside the opposition box in a single match, the most since they started tracking that stat in 2008. Early in 2025, he destroyed Ipswich Town in the FA Cup, scoring once and assisting Haaland in a 6-0 win. Pep called his display brilliant.
Today was brilliant, so I'm really pleased for him.
Injuries again gave him some setbacks, but every time he came back, he made an impact. Against Spurs in February of 2025, he was the man of the match, creating the winning goal for Haaland and leading the game in chances created. That same month against Liverpool, he absolutely abused Trent. Like he bent him over and just spanked him around. Every time he got the ball, he looked to drive straight at him, using that crazy acceleration to leave Trent behind. By the end of that match, Doku had completed 15 take-ons out of 22 attempts, with 11 of those coming against Trent. You could see that the Englishman was struggling to cope one-on-one. At times, he was left completely exposed, and when he tried to get tight, Doku would just spin him or burst past. Liverpool eventually had to adjust. Konate stepped across, midfielders like Gravenberch and Szoboszlai dropped deeper, and even Mo Salah tracked back way more than usual to help cover. These guys were kind of used to it. It wasn't the first time that Trent had been abused by Doku. The problem for City was that while Doku kept skinning Trent on the wing, the final pass just wasn't there. It was a common theme for Doku. For example, he completed 13 dribbles in a wild 2-2 draw versus Brighton, but didn't take a shot or create a clear chance. Since joining in 2023, Doku had tried close to 500 take-ons in all comps, which is about 11 per game. He's fearless, constantly carrying the ball into the box and racking up touches in dangerous areas. In fact, only Salah had taken more touches in the penalty area that season. But here's the catch. For all the chaos Doku has created, his output hasn't been great. That wasn't just a Doku problem though. The way that Pep City plays They cause the opponent to clog up the middle and make it very congested. That pushes the ball wide to players like Doku, often with space to receive, but those gaps close fast as he drives towards goal. By the time he reaches crossing range, the box is more packed than the lineup for Bonnie Blue. Tracking data shows City crosses are often met by a crowd. At least 6 defenders are blocking it. Finding a teammate in that traffic is hard for anyone. Doku's nature is to attack, not to recycle possession. And that's great because he's one of the very few players that can just naturally glide past 3 or 4 defenders at the same time. But because he's so direct, he can run into congestion at full speed. That's an area of his game though that Doku has now improved. In the back end of the 2024-2025 season, when City desperately needed points to secure Champions League qualification, he came off the bench to assist the winner against Aston Villa. Guardiola was full of praise again, calling him unstoppable in the final third, and even apologizing publicly for not giving him more starts.
Because Jérémy in the final third is unstoppable. He's an incredible football player.
The stats back Pep up. In 2024-2025, Doku led the Premier League in progressive carries and dribbles per 90 minutes. No one in Europe's top leagues beat defenders as often or as efficiently as he did. Doku has now firmly established himself as one of City's most exciting players. He brings back the old school winger vibe, the guy who just wants to take on his man, but he combines it with modern speed and athleticism. He's also learning to be smarter, consistently making the right decision on the fly. He's also added more goals and assists to his game. Look at what he did to Manchester United and Napoli. The rise of Jérémy Doku is still only the beginning. City fans already adore him, and neutrals love watching him because he makes football fun. Every time he gets the ball, you feel like something can happen. That's rare nowadays, and if his progress continues, he's on track to become not just one of the best wingers in the Premier League, but one of the very best in the world. To get yourself a Jérémy Doku Manchester City jersey, check out buygamejerseys.com and use code PETTALKS. To see how good the City team around him is, check out this video right here.